Hey everyone, how is everyone doing on this quiet Monday night? Quiet, okay? Quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. Um, Three of my listeners, out of 200 subscribers, 100 and 190. How many I lost? Like fucking past 3 weeks, and then on and on. I'm losing my followers. Oh my freaking god! These pistachios are so old. It's like they've been sitting in the shop for like 3 months. It's like in the mountains. We had like one shop in the whole fucking village, right? Shop or store, says store. American says store. In British language, English language, they say shop. And what's going on, huh? What's going on? Anything new? Oh, anything new? Oh, World Cup is over. We played some golf yesterday, me and my wife. She played some good shots. I played some good shots too. We went to my favorite golf course, Galloping Hill. Except it's fucking expensive, but then what's not? Like, I was out with my friends yesterday, not yesterday, Friday, and we were talking about, like, how, where we live, how expensive it is. This is like one of the most expensive fucking places on earth. The amount of money spent that we spend on rent, on food, and everything is fucking unbelievable. And we can't even fucking move from here. It's uneffing believable. All right? That's the whole fucking truth. You know, my wife wants to move down to Memphis, all right, Tennessee, where, it's more peaceful, you get more for your buck, but like this is like unbelievable. Like, America. All right, we are on fucking loans and like fucking borrowed money, credit cards or government loans, whatever the fuck, right? And then you're stuck, in an apartment like I am. That's even worse. We went to see some like new building apartments right here by Liberty State Park, right? Nice fucking building they built, like 12 stories, right? Nice effing views. You can see State Show and, Manhattan sky views from, above fourth and fifth floor above all the way. And they have a nice rooftop. But then so expensive, because of this fucking, yeah, but we got this stupid Sims factory here, which is a fucking pain in my ass, all right? So we've been exploring options, right? And to rent this because, I can't sell this. Nobody made an offer because of the fucking special assessment. Excuse my language. YouTube is going to basically, block my podcast because I'm cursing too much. Sorry. I'm sorry. Um, and summer is here. We're still stuck here, and I want to, I want to spend time more outdoors. When we do, we went to the beach also on Saturday for a little bit, and while you have it, because like cold up here is brutal, man, fucking brutal, and I don't even want to think about that because that just gives me creeps, you know, chills down to my bones. All right. In any case, so The other thing, obviously, is we can't. I mean, you can't do anything outdoors. You can't play golf, and that's just depressing. Because that's the only thing I do. I mean, sports-wise and fun, right? In any case, so without complaining too much, it is what it is. Life is just always problems, always, you have to find that fucking niche of happiness, satisfaction, however you do it, whatever, If you are in a miserable condition, whatever condition it is, whether work or living situation or whatever the fuck. I mean, we are not in a miserable condition. We are just, am I going too fucking fast in here? We're just spending too much fucking money, all right? That's what it is. Rent and like even food and everything. Oh, so by the way, so my my wife has a new car, the used, all right? It's a nice Hyundai Tucson, nice one. Uh, because she wanted to explore her own, career path and all that, which is good for her. I mean, she does my company's billing and all that still. All right, without getting too much into that, uh, what else? What else? What else? I don't know. I always like, get excited and then I get anxiety, and my anxiety levels are actually becoming more and more, which sucks. I mean, I uh, had, what they call the oppressed anxiety, and how you are anxious, but then you're pretending that you are confident and blah blah blah, right? And just even little things, looping fucking thoughts, which I hate them. I hate those fucking looping thoughts, man. You think about one thing and then you keep thinking about it, right? Over and over and over again, right? And you got to say another mantra to get rid of that fucking thought, right? In any case, and then, you have to learn to ignore. That's what it is. You have to learn to ignore, man. I think that's like if you're in the middle of the night, you're trying to sleep and some fucking thought coming to your mind and it's keeping you up. You gotta learn to ignore, and you gotta just be like that one chilled out person, not chilled out. You say, "Ah, fuck it, what am I gonna do now? It's midnight, I'm trying to get some fucking sleep. What the fuck is this thought is gonna do? All right, I gotta deal with this. I'll deal with this tomorrow or next week or whatever it is, all right?" So in any case, you get to my age, and we're trying to live a life of some sort of level of with some sort of level of some sort of level of some sort of satisfaction and happiness and health. All right. I mean, obviously, if you don't have health, then your body is not good, and it's just like everything is just like secondary. All right. And us guys, we don't really take care of ourselves, and I really didn't for the longest fucking period in my life. And now I'm 53. Sometimes I feel like I've lived more than 50. That's enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm just sounding kind of like down, but I mean the fact is that it's not good to not have a balanced life. I mean, I should be grateful that I have my wife with me, and and regardless of our differences, and obviously relationships are not, you know, uh, ideal. I mean, you have to compromise, you have to basically come to agreements and all that. But like, I think I was just going with the fucking flow, and and just also being hard on myself too much, that I don't deserve this, I didn't deserve that, even like, like even the living situations, I could afford it back in the days, and then I just kept living in these miserable apartments, and finally I moved in 2000, I think 17, moved into an elevator building. Before that, I was in these fucking brownstones, and it's like, Brooklyn and fucking, yeah, Park Slope, and then Brooklyn Heights, just like fucking so much traffic. And I was telling my wife, I got really depressed when I came back from pristine Rocky Mountains of Colorado back in 2018, back to fucking Brooklyn. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I not out in some like nice, more peaceful place where I can hike and all that? I mean, I can't hike now, but because I'm a sciatica, but you get my point, right? And I was just miserable after that trip in August, September. I was like so miserable, and it just like, my engineers, my workers, they were worried, and it just like I was, and then I just like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm like, and then after that, I'm glad I moved out here to Jersey City, which is more peaceful. Although now it's becoming like Manhattan 6.0, whatever the fuck point oh is, right? Because every like vacant lot is being filled with the high rise, and I'm glad we're not living there. We are away from all that fucking hoopla and all that congested traffic and all that. But still, we are close to. I mean, we're still living the fucking city life. So let's see what happens. I mean, we got to make a decision about this, whether we want to stay here, etc., etc. And life is life is what it is. You got to make it at least conducive for your own living. Work, or again relationship, or living. And then you know extra time, time off. And that's also very important, because many of us, I mean, like where I come from, although I've been here for over 26 years now, 25 years, right? Like there's no concept as, oh, you got take time off, man. And you got to, because I've been telling my brother that I'll visit him in Europe, but I'm not sure, because dealing with this other fucking car, and I just like. But in any case, so whatever it is, so maybe I can visit him if I can get a cheap ticket. Maybe you can go somewhere Mediterranean. I'm not sure yet. I mean, that's also fucking expensive, like travel. But I gotta take my wife to Rockies end of August, which I'm looking forward to. Pristine Rockies of Colorado. The Continental Divide. You know, that I visited 10 years ago for the first time, and I was amazed. You know. In any case, because I'm from mountains, so I kind of uh, like that landscape, and I'm inclined in my mind, in my spirit, in my soul, and my body likes that, mountain sort of terrain. And I wish that we could actually settle down there somewhere, eventually. That was my dream, but then I just got stuck here with these clients and now I realize that sometimes it's also a leap of faith, which I never took because just like the New York City, especially after like 2010, just sucked me into the whole the fucking party scene and just like I mean, I was already old, but then, when you're alone, and it was not only me that, I'm from another country. I've been here for, let's say, so long, but then I had friends, American friends. I mean, I'm American, obviously, but who were born and raised here. They were going through some shit, same shit, relationships were just not easy, and, trying to find somebody in this fucking, black hole of New York, and it just like, I feel like we all suffered through that, I mean, it's a cutthroat competition when it comes to like dating and all that, here in New York. And it's like a crucible. It's a fucking crucible of, when you are, under the age of 40 and you're trying to, even when you're 40s, people uh, trying to, I mean, I'm just talking from the side of men. I'm pretty sure women have to go through that, maybe not as much as us men have to go through that shit, And listen, ladies, I'm not trying to be, for men and women are, well, the easy part, all right? I'm not saying that, but it's not an easy thing. It just, now, at least we have technology, dating websites and all that, and people hook up on those ones. And then, I just didn't want to do that because I knew I didn't have any fucking chance. Whatever. I was just like, sort of like done with that. I was going to join a monastery or some shit, if I hadn't married, I think, I was just going to like step back and like step away from this human life. Human life, really? What are you? And just, I don't know, find something else. I have no fucking idea. I mean, I still think about that, like, I mean, because the stress of I mean, the less the stress as you are older, obviously it's much better, because it's just something you feel it, feel whether it's work related issues or whatever it is, even, like fucking engine light comes on the fucking car. It's like, what the fuck? I just bought this and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It just, everything becomes exponential. Every problem becomes fucking exponential. And especially for people like me who have a lot of anxiety and, and just, I feel like the world is basically just fucking screwing me over and over. So my emotional like side just like becomes dominant, which is not good. I gotta, I'm learning, even at this fucking age, I'm learning to control my emotions and just like use my fucking logic and like it's okay, man. Just ignore. I think the ignore button in our fucking brain is the best, you know. So um, that's uh, that's basically my 20-minute podcast, everyone. I presume you all are having good health and happiness and enjoying your summer, because that's just what you got to do. Otherwise, life is just too fucking short to complain and whine. And I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't complain. Yeah, this world can basically run you over. I mean, not run you over in that sense. It's just like even, our own like mistakes, we feel like, because I feel that, like, because I have OCD, and sometimes I make decisions in a hurry without like thinking too much, which is not good. I mean, I used to, not as much as I now, but it's like, in any case, all right, so don't be too hard on yourself. I think that's the first principle, okay? If you have something for, who the fuck am I preaching this choir? Which choir am I preaching this to? I mean, if you have any like personal issues with somebody, or relation or whatever, you gotta. So whatever is bothering you, you gotta just resolve it or ignore it and just like move on. Move on, man. So that's what it is. And all right, so that's my podcast, everyone. I will talk to you all next week. Happy summer.